we have a break. You mentioned only one cup set yesterday, Jack. Richmond Kickers down 3-1 at home to the Virginia Dream. Kickers have got off to a good start in USL League One, but their cup campaign not off to a good start so far. Still a half hour to go in that one. For Darren Sawatsky's men to try and rescue at least extra time. Attacker still down. His head, not a good sign.
Aldo Damas on the bench. See this one again, just fighting for this one. It's a clean challenge, but it's
face first into the turf.
Really hard fall for Preston Tabor Titaka.
Didn't get his arms down in time.
It might be Deshaun Beard calling for some attention to Preston Tabor Titaka.
So you have to worry about potential concussion symptoms from that. Here comes the trainer. Tabor Attacker is certainly not moving particularly well.
Tabor Titaka, as you mentioned, Ross, is going to make sure that he's okay to continue. 34 appearances, 4 goals and an assist last year. He joined originally in August 2023 from Las Vegas. Had a few stints with the Lights, including when they were LAFC. He's a tricky winger, the Cameroonian, tough to handle. Right there, Yasha Dubé does what you really have to do, which is just stick a stick in the spokes of the wheel and try and slow things down.
Preston's going to try and shake this one off, but obviously referee Beard saw something he didn't like perhaps and called the trainer over. Well done by referee Beard. Preston looks like he's going to try and give it a go.
I'll have to set up for just a moment, but he's right next to this throw in from Stephen Turnbull. Long throw being prepped here. Roman Torres with it in his hands. Torres launches it into the box. Flicked along. Opportunity. He's going to run along to the end line. Kept in play by the Birmingham Legion. Throw in now for the Legion. 22 minutes down, about halfway through our first half. A few shots for both teams up to this point. The best chance coming in the scrum after a corner kick for the Legion. A clearance off the line with his entire body from Carlos Beltran, denying what was sure to be a guaranteed goal. Able to deal with that, save that chance. It's still 0-0. Pushed along, a shot blocked in the crowd. Pushed through again. This one fully cleared and scraped away by Little Rock Rangers, who, Ross, through the first half of this first half, have done quite well for themselves.
No, they've been brave. They've had good possession in that final third. Obviously made Delgado, forced Delgado into a couple of saves. Oh, is that inside or outside? Apparently inside the box.
That is looking like it's going to be a penalty based on all the body language there. That was right on the edge of the 18-yard box. Let's watch it again, Ross.
Let's see here. Yeah, he's in certainly
looks
about
like
half a foot or so.
Right in the corner of that 18-yard box. The referee on the field, Deshaun Beard, would have a much better idea of it, being closer to this thinner line along the box. Standing over this one, Luca Dorado. A 5-year career at UCF, scored 43 goals in 69 games. 5th most goals in program history. The Sao Paulo native looking for a first for his new side, the Birmingham Legion, in the US Open Cup. Tomas Wroblewski In net to try and deny him. Dorado. It's saved! And it falls on from Wroblewski, their hero in 2024. He's returned with a massive save.
Yeah, it was not a good penalty from Dorado along the ground. It almost looked like Wroblewski waited a little bit before he dived, and he made the right choice to go to his left.
Wroblewski launches it forward.
The second dive by a Little Rock player tonight to save a goal.
Knocked out of play. That'll be a corner, the first of the match now for Little Rock. What can they do with the confidence boost of that penalty save? So close to conceding, but denied by Tomasz Wroblewski, the Polish goalkeeper. Team of the Year for USL League 2, Mid-South Divisional Player of the Year, Golden Glove winner. Part of a team that kept a lot of clean sheets. Former man of Elon University.
Well, interesting setup here inside the 6-yard box.
They are packing them on the goal line. Trying the in-swinging corner with the left foot, just put it in the box and cause some chaos. It's whipped in, near post, through a sea of black and white shirts. It's pushed along, and Tibor Titaka, who is back into the match after a brief check for any concussion issues from him.
Good to see. Yeah, we'll see if Little Rock can use this momentum here from that big penalty save.
Still a long ways to go in our match, but of course, based on the structure of this US Open Cup competition, if things stay level after 90, we go to a pair of 15-minute periods, no golden goal. If it's still tied after that, then penalties would come about, but we've seen our first penalty of the day. Tomasz Wroblewski has laid down a marker with, you said a bit of a poor penalty. I think that's a good save.
Yeah, I think he went, these goalkeepers almost dive too early these days, right? And penalty takers have learned that, and they'll do their little slow shimmy right before they get up to the ball and kind of wait till that goalkeeper makes a decision. Almost looked like Wroblewski waited an extra half second, and because the penalty was so poor, that allowed him to make the stop.
Chikawa, the right back, to take this throw in.
So Greenville and Asheville go to penalties last night. The first Asheville penalty was a Panenka. Not here in this one.
Panenka definitely does not come off if the goalkeeper doesn't move like Wroblewski did. He was willing to wait a moment and trust his instincts, and it paid off.
It's a tough spot for Dorado too. He hasn't had a ton of minutes as a rookie. Would have been a big confidence builder if he could have slotted it home, especially for this Legion squad and the slow start they got off to this season. We see the ball bouncing around again. Yeah. On this grass here at Episcopal Collegiate. You just hope it doesn't come down to a mistake due to the turf. Whoops.
That's poked away. Press paying off. Squared centrally, cleared away. Playing with fire, the penalty, and conceding that one there. Wroblewski, I think, after the penalty save, he's got an error in him that he's allowed to make, but this one, dangerous.
Yeah, I apologize for Tomasz Wroblewski. It wasn't the grass, though. He just took that one little touch. And he really should have taken it. He probably should have just blasted that first time. He was under pressure.
Yasha Dube coming in late to make the tackle. Zimbabwe and putting an important foot in, able to get in there ahead of Preston Tibor Titaka. This corner, deep, over everybody. To keep it
up into the jet stream, Jack.
That one's just clear out of the crowd.
Yeah, the wind is coming from that side. It's a brisk breeze, as we mentioned. Knoxville now with a 2-0 lead against Appalachian FC. We do have our first game going to extra time tonight. Chattanooga FC and Corpus Christi.
We've had one game get decided. That was Columbus Crew against New York Renegades. The next pro side, Columbus, taking that 4-1. Chattanooga trying to do a similar fate to their next pro rival and head to the next round, but they're going to extras against Corpus Christi. Inter Miami 2 doing well against Miami United. They conceded early, but they're up 3-1 now. Here's the throw, long one. Put into the box, pushed away. There's going to be a foul going against Birmingham, and a free kick inside their own 18 after a tackle put in by Kevin Ventura. The last 2 years at the University of Central Arkansas. Making 16 appearances. A lot of connection with Central Arkansas.
Yes.
They played a tune-up game against them on Sunday. It was a 1-0 win for Little Rock, but result less important compared to just the 60 minutes they were able to get under their legs.
Nick Doyle is now an assistant coach at University of Central Arkansas, and there's some rules about players not being allowed to play if your coach also coaches the League Two side, so they won't be able to play for him, I think, this upcoming season in USL League Two. I don't think the rules apply for the Open Cup because there are obviously a few UCA players on this squad. Well,
it is a scheduling and logistical, I don't want to say nightmare for Little Rock Rangers. Obviously a special opportunity, and it offers the opportunity to a lot of unique players. That's going to be a foul from behind, a Legion free kick. But because their season doesn't start until May, Ross, there is a good mix of players who will likely be on the roster come then, but also players who have their opportunity now but may not be with the side over the summer.
We also need to mention Northwest Arkansas getting a team, Ozark United, coming next season. USL Championship. Exciting times for soccer in Arkansas.
Times for soccer in the United
Yes,
States with
this week. Wow.
Announcement of promotion and relegation for a upcoming Division I league, which would be above the USL Championship where the Legion currently play. Make a 3-tier system, aim for 2028. Trying to capitalize on momentum that is likely to be generated from the World Cup to come in just about a year and a few months' time. Little Rock, part of a lot of communities across the country that play over the summer, have academies, women's teams that really just help develop the game. Burko goes down under the challenge, doesn't get the foul. Tussle in that corner, the referee's letting them play. Now it's finally going to be a free kick. It begs the question, you know, at what point do you say, all right, maybe they have been tussling for a little bit, let's let them get out of the situation.
I think Burko finally put a little too much weight on the back of the Birmingham player. Not sure what he's complaining about.
Maybe saying they did that to me, it wasn't a foul. I do that to them for a couple seconds and I get a foul.
Well, it's one of those things that the officials let go if you're trying to run out of time in the 92nd minute, but no one wants to see that in the 31st minute.
Also in your own half, defending it like that, as Legion were. That's a really strong header by Ichikawa. Decline. Burko, who was getting in a lot of tussles here. This time he will draw the foul. And maybe that is confirmation that if you make your case to the referee, they may look more favorably upon you. As a referee yourself, you love when players tell you got that one wrong.
I do love communication, but I like it to be a two-way system. Not one telling the other one they got it wrong.
Yeah, this is what I saw here. This is what, you know, is my perspective on it. What did you see? Good communication.
Yeah, as long as you keep it positive.
So it's a free kick just a few yards inside the attacking half for Little Rock. Putting some numbers forward, some also offering square options. This one put into the box, pushed away, a good strong header. It's not a foul from behind, referee waves it away. Dorado went down under the challenge. This one hooked forward and Burko, and a tussle there with Suarez. He's one to just get stuck in as a center forward.
Yeah, Dorado went down, clutching his lower back. See if he's back on his feet. Looks like it is.
Indeed.
Perhaps he was trying to sell something, and the referee didn't buy it, though.
Pushed forward. Foot race there. Able to end that race as it ran out of play. Throw in taken by Ereku.
So you need a team putting a ton of press into this one so far. We've got to remember, this one does go 120 minutes. You may be regretting the early presses. So you've got to pace yourself a little bit.
Both teams with 7 subs.
Yeah, just with the expectation of potential extra time. And we mentioned the subs earlier. Birmingham with a very strong bench. Kobe Hernandez Foster, almost starter for Birmingham in the middle of the park. Ronaldo Damas, winner everywhere he goes. Hasn't won a US Open Cup though.
So with Ramiz Hamoda on the bench, you've got 4 guys who started both of their championship games so far. So opportunity for rotation with a match on the weekend coming up against Detroit City FC on Saturday. So a Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, a tight week and a bit of travel for Birmingham here. They had their first 2 matches of the year. First a 3-1 defeat against Loudoun United at home, then a 1-1 draw against Lou City. Something that Tom Sohn was, the result improved from match 1 to 2, as did the performance as well from the side.
Yeah, he obviously said he's been disappointed. He hasn't been able to see many of his full attacking options out there because of injuries. Talked in the pregame, well, actually early in the game, about how many they're missing. Patterson, Trejo, Pasha, Kavita. Tregarthen's on the bench tonight. I'm not sure if we'll see him. He was not dressed on Sunday for that game against Louisville.
Looked forward, headed into the midfield, pushed along by Dubé. Return to the midfielder. Bit of a heavy touch, and Deportitaka takes over. The experienced Martinez brought down. That's a foul by Dubé.
Almost got those long legs around Enzo Martinez, just a little too much contact. Enzo's had a very quiet first half so far. He's one of those guys that can just pop up with a bit of magic in a split second and change a game.
No magic there, a blocked pass. It's cleared away now by Little Rock. One to challenge for. Dubé gets ahead to it. Turnbull had to quickly put a challenge in. Here's Martinez. Wondered where he would be popping up in the midfield. Could be at the bottom of this midfield group as a DM. Putting a bit further forward now. The challenge in there on Stephen Turnbull. Bringing in Stephen Turnbull and Ronaldo Damas, who's on the bench. Damas scoring his first goal in the last game against Lou City, the equalizer just before halftime. Both.
Nice header from a free kick.
That's a foul against Dorado.
You think about Enzo sitting a little deeper in his elder days, we'll say. I think he gives him the option to sit back if he wants to and push forward when he wants to. He's not certainly not an number 8 box-to-box midfielder anymore. Such an important piece for this Birmingham Legion side.
It's a second start on the year for the Uruguayan. He made 7 goals and 6 assists in 2024. 34 years of age, but again, experience. You can count in matches like these. Talking about Turnbull, he's at right back. They brought him in from Rhode Island. Damas from Colorado Springs. Both those teams in the final of the USL Championship last year. Something that Nick Doyle mentioned was just the ability to square off against players of this caliber. Playing against Turnbull, could play against Damas if they decide to bring him on off the bench. Clipped forward. The header won in the box. It's one that's allowed to run by Arecu.
You never know who's watching these games, especially when there's some available free on YouTube. And we've seen players in the past come out of the US Open Cup with professional contracts here from the Open Division. Florida Soccer Soldiers a few years ago, and a number of those guys ended up with pro deals.
Delgado, booming kick forward. Met in the midfield. Torres.
Yeah, the stats really tell the story so far in this one. Limited shots for each side. Possession very close. The odd moment of wide open play. There's another chance here, perhaps.
Driving. The low shot blocked. A touch bounces for Deportitaka. Sits down one. Trying to move it along in the box. It's blocked. Kept in play. Right at the end line. Cleared upfield. A situation where the defense of the Little Rock Rangers bends but does not break. Point blank block from Carlos Beltran. Penalty save from Tomas Wroblewski. They've had some players step up.
Yeah, getting bodies behind the ball. I think some of the Birmingham players are having a little bit of trouble with their surface in the box, trying to get the ball out from under their feet, rolling to where they want it to be.
It was here 5 years ago that Little Rock played in their first ever US Open Cup game. Lost to Rayados. They conceded in the 95th minute. That in a moment as it's brought down by Martinez. Looking at his options, just along the 18. An overlapping run, not taken. And he can slide it into a very versatile Arecu. His ball forward, pushed away. Dubé clears it up and high. Good hold-up play. Burko on the turn. Clipped from behind, that's going to be a foul. And it's going to be the first yellow card of the match, going the way of Roman Torres. The midfielder booked after just clipping the heels of Daniel Burko.
Yeah, Burko was on his way into the Birmingham half. It's a clumsy foul there. He had defensive support. You didn't really need to do it, and he did. chance perhaps to get one into the penalty box here.
Torres, 2 assists in the first 2 games of the season, assisted both of the goals scored so far. Man on loan from Minnesota United. Was the 25th pick in the 2025 Super Draft out of Freight.
Disappointing delivery there.
Good tackle though. Ball slid forward into the channel. That's going to run too fast for Steven Stone. 55 appearances at Lincoln Memorial University. The midfielder lining up appears to be almost the right side of this at times 4-4-2, 4-5-1 shape for Little Rock. Imagine Birmingham will enjoy halftime in 5 minutes to look at a first half where they say we've had 2 chances where we probably should have scored from. Expected goals in that first half, a strong number most likely for the Legion. Penalty alone accounting for a good chunk of that. And also just be able to say, all right, here's what we've seen from Little Rock for 45 minutes, going into this not knowing a ton. That's a heavy touch. And that's going to be one for Wroblewski to dive on, and it goes out for a corner. But again, Wroblewski, he has the penalty save, but he's testing his luck, building out from the back.
Yeah, that one certainly, the surface played more of a role than it did when he had the first mistake that he saved himself from. He hurt himself going for that ball, lucky not to give away a penalty again.
It's one of those where you say, don't mess around at the back. In conditions like these, in a match like this, you want the Legion to have to earn their goal. Got some numbers in the box right now. A goal that could really change the complexion of the match. Into the 6-yard box, parried off the goal line by Wroblewski. May have been an Olympico if it was untouched, headed away, and brought down. Good touches from McConnell. Maybe a chance to try and break out here. Finding Blake, driving at the back line. Ethan Blake. Was he brought down there illegally? Referee says no. Now a chance for the Legion to try and push some numbers forward. Over the top, Wroblewski. Flag goes up for offside, Ross, as you cringe there from the touches from Wroblewski.
So Mr. Wroblewski's going to give me a heart attack in this game. Here's another look at this one.
See, he loves to just raise the heart rate with his brilliant saves and with his touches out the back.
He had a defender behind him that could potentially have helped him out, but he probably didn't know that. Linesman, which he saw Deshaun Beard take a quick glance at the linesman to see if it had gone in.
Blake trying to find one forward, a thumbs up there from Stone. Blake from Lindenwood, 34 appearances, 12 goals, 11 assists, was all Ohio Valley Conference first team in 2024. He is one of those guys, after getting some shine with Texoma in the preseason, close to signing a deal, not quite there. If he's able to have a moment or two, a good performance here, that Nick Doyle mentioned, all players in the match here, there's going to be the tape and the film from this match here today. A good result goes a long way in getting some shine to a potential professional deal.
Yeah, coaches, we talk to coaches that do talk to other coaches about trialists. They'll say, hey, did you have anybody in camp that you could suggest? And as long as you're not perhaps a local rival, we'll suggest some names.
Much like any industry, connections, knowing people, networking. Rolled forward. Birmingham trying to put a bit of heartbreak here as Martinez turns in the box at the end line. Did he keep it in play? No, he did not. It's a goal kick.
And we had a good example with Greenville this offseason. Daniel Wu ended up signing with Lexington late on in preseason after trialing in some places, and then they offered Anthony Patty and said, hey, you should take a look at this guy. He played for them in the first season. He ended up signing with Greenville. Obviously 2 teams in different divisions, but behind these coaches do communicate perhaps more than people think they do, especially those that have been around the game for so long.
Mentioned that promotion relegation soon to come. Have all sorts of impacts on the game in the soccer league. Thing where Lexington, Greenville, not too long ago they were in the exact same division in League One. Could be the same again with overperformance, underperformance from teams bouncing up and down. It's certainly an interesting concept. A lot of logistics to figure out in the coming years for the league. Really makes a fascinating idea. The Jägermeister Cup coming up is kind of almost a trial period of interleague competition. It's showing off the depth of competition and just array of options that exist in the USL with League Two side face off against a championship team. One of the premier teams in League Two at that in Little Rock. Back, Roblewski.
All we got to talk about now is if they do obviously get Pro Rel going, is do we go to the European season at some point? That debate may never end.
It's one of those where it's challenging in the United States just because of the geographical conditions. The cold in some places of the country makes it really tough in parts of the year. Do you want to play during the summer? Do you not want to play during the summer? That's a bit of a late challenge there from Burko, and he will be booked. That born out of frustration there for the forward.
Yeah, he hasn't been getting a ton of service tonight. Perhaps just letting it frustration get the best of him there. But we're almost at the break here. Both teams will be hoping no mental mistakes here in stoppage time.
Daniel Burko with the yellow. Roman Torres for the Legion also with a yellow card. Confirmation there in the top left of your screen.
Goals flying in everywhere elsewhere. Jack. 3-0 Knoxville now over Appalachian. 4-2 into Miami. Still 3-1 Virginia Dream over Richmond Kickers. That's the real cup set there. 4-0 Lexington over Southern Indiana.
2 minutes of stoppage time coming up. Goal, that would be the classic tearing up of the manager's notes if it was to go in. Burko just recently booked challenges, knocks it down to Stone. Stone, a ball. Takes a slight deflection, and it's left for Fernando Delgado. The young goalkeeper picks it up. Waving numbers forward, wants some options downfield.
I think Nick Doyle will certainly be the happier of the coaches at the break. His team's been very much in this game. Haven't had a ton of action in there the final third over the last half hour or so. Delgado's just been claiming balls like this rather than making saves. We have a down for the home team.
Looks to be John Coca, but not entirely guaranteed there. Second look here will tell us. It is Coca. May have been the contact, may have been the fall. Both combining to be a bit uncomfortable for a man who spent 2 summers with Little Rock in 2023 and 2024, as well as several years with Missouri State. Back to his feet with a little hobble. They'll want to have him see that out until halftime and then get it treated.
Yeah, played at Missouri State with a ton of current professionals, especially in League One.
Towering header from the back line. Ventura. Martinez, his touch. It's allowed to be knocked forward. Burko trying to chase, pushed out of play. Final seconds here of the first half. We saw a few opportunities in the early stages for Little Rock, but then Birmingham really began to put a stranglehold on the game with the 2 big chances, the penalty and the point-blank block.
Yeah, the one thing it's going to be interesting to see when Tom Stone does go to his bench. His team certainly, I would say not in the complete ascendancy in this game, because they haven't scored, but they've certainly looked the better side over the last half an hour. Plenty of offensive firepower on the bench. Make some changes at halftime, especially with the short week, the game coming up on the weekend. Does he wait a little longer?
Burko, top of the box, lays it off. Oh, trying to turn there, Blake, just a little under hit, and that'll be the final action of a first half that was a stalemate. Any final thoughts from you on that first 45, Ross?
Oh, it was a bit of a chess match at times. It was nice and open for the first 5 or 10 minutes. Enzo Martinez perhaps needs to get a little more involved, but certainly plenty of encouraging signs for the home team as they look for this cup set going into the second half.
Stalemate in Arkansas. Good match so far, but nothing to separate the 2 sides as we get into break now at Wildcat Stadium. Some good opportunities for both teams. None of them capitalized upon as of yet. 45 minutes still to come. We'll see what happens with these 2 sides putting your body on the line. It's halftime between Little Rock and the Birmingham Legion.
Yeah, they said we were having some engineering side issues on it. All right, Logan's good on white bounce.
Second half just moments away between the Little Rock Rangers and the Birmingham Legion FC in the first round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Stalemate after 45, but certainly some opportunities for both teams as all these sides trying to book their spot in round number 2. All across the country, teams competing in some really great games up to this point. We've seen a few cup sets, most notably Virginia Dream final over Richmond United.
And that's a big one in Richmond at City Stadium. Another potential one there in extra time. Chattanooga and Corpus Christi FC, who have knocked out Little Rock Rangers in the USL League 2 playoffs the past summer.
Those are the current scores around today. Some games still to come up later tonight. El Paso, Monterey Bay, Real Monarchs, LAFC 2, Spokane Velocity, some of the top sides that will play in matches this evening. Well, the first 45 minutes was very competitive between these two sides. In the beginning, Little Rock with some early opportunities to try and get themselves into the match. We'll take a look at some really good movement here. This was really early on in the game. Steven Stone, a shot that goes just too high. That one off target, but as you can see, some early opportunities early in the game, Russ.
You have to think with the field conditions that the crosses like this are going to be the best chance for both teams to get on the board. You saw Steven Stone on that first touch. The field affected his first touch a little bit. Was this a handball on the line here? Perhaps, yes. On this, you look at it again there, it looked like it may have caught his elbow. Was it in a natural position, though, perhaps, as he was falling? Interesting one.
May have been a ball don't lie moment there. They do rule the penalty, but maybe ball does lie. The penalty saved by Tomas Wroblewski.
Yeah, Wroblewski got down one. It wasn't the best struck penalty. Wroblewski did what he needed to do and did it here as well. He made a couple of what almost turned into calamitous errors in the first half, but comes into the second half with the half a clean sheet so far.
Still scoreless at halftime. Two teams beginning to make their way back out on the field, Ross. We can just kind of carry us into this point. We had some of those live scores. Are you surprised by that Richmond results, falling at home against a side at lower division than them?
I haven't seen the Richmond lineup, but got off to a relatively good start in League One. Obviously had a rough couple of seasons with some injuries to key players, and Terzaghi, etc. But yeah, disappointing for Richmond there. There's always a good crowd as well at City Stadium.
Knoxville on the road, they took care of business as a League One side. Mentioned some of the success from Nexpro teams, and we have a goal just a little bit ago from Chattanooga in their match against Corpus Christi. So if you're a Little Rock Rangers fan and you don't want to see, a side that eliminated you last year experience some joy, Corpus Christi currently falling 1-0. All these matches here on the U.S. Soccer YouTube page. We really appreciate you taking some time this evening to support the oldest competition in U.S. soccer. Jack Edwards and Ross Davenport here with you. What changes do you expect to be made by either side? Because if you're Little Rock, I don't think you can sustain this pressure at the current rate and not concede a goal in the next half hour or so.
Yeah, and the question with some of these open sides is always the depth side of things, right? What do they have on the bench? We obviously don't know a ton about all of these players out here for Little Rock Rangers. We know they have some quality in the starting 11. It's just a question of what they have on the bench. I think if they can just maintain a little more possession in that middle third, get the likes of Blake and Stone on some runs. You can see the wind picking up as well. The jersey's blowing again.
You mentioned the quality. Nyasha Dube, who you see on your screen, a fascinating profile for him. He played the entire 120 minutes in their 2019 U.S. Open Cup game. He's also appeared in a match for the Zimbabwe national team. So we've got some good experience for this group, and I have to imagine for a team that's playing in just its second ever Open Cup match, how beneficial it is not just to have a manager who played in that match in Nick Doyle, but also a player on the field who can offer that calming presence in Dube.
No, for sure. And you never know with these teams. They've obviously played, as we see a change coming here, I think, for Birmingham. We've obviously played some friendlies. Little Rock, they played against Central Arkansas last week. Obviously, wondering how much fitness these guys have. Haven't played a ton of 90-minute competitive matches recently, for sure. Get to that Birmingham sub in a second.
Confirmation for that in just a moment. It looked to be Stephen Turnbull's number 2 that popped up. center circle, John Coca. Sean Beard just getting some final things sorted. We mentioned him. It's first match as the main official so far this calendar year for Beard, but he was the fourth official for Birmingham Louisville, so we've got some experience with some of these players. As a ref, just how much does it help to begin to know some of the players you're reffing?
I think just in their tendencies, right? Who are the troublemakers especially? Unfortunately, Enzo Martinez comes in with a bit of a reputation at times. Hey, well, in the first half. See that some of the players keep it warm because it is getting a little chilly out there. They're expecting it to drop down towards 50. The wind picking up.
50 with that kind of wind, it does not feel like 50. It begins to really tick down and become a little uncomfortable to stand around in. Both teams ready to get running again. Stats relatively even, probably a slight shot edge for the visiting Birmingham Legion, but you'd expect that as the USL Championship side. They have had some really good Open Cup success in the past few years, the Birmingham Legion have. Go back to 2019, they fell to Louisville City, a fellow side in the USL Championship. They fell to South Georgia Tormenta in 2022 in the return after the COVID hiatus of the competition. Then that really great run that they had going all the way to the quarterfinals, lost to Inter Miami, who that match in June of 2023, Lionel Messi, if you've heard of him, he ended up joining in July of 2023, an Inter Miami team that would go on to the final. We're ready for the second 45 minutes in the white kits. Heading from left to right across your screen are the Little Rock Rangers, with the black kits of the Birmingham Legion heading from right to left. One's under hit in terms of a touch there, and it's sliced out of play. A bit of frustration there initially. Moses Mensah looks to be into the match. I believe I saw his number 33 there. Figuring out just the exact logistics of that substitution. Long ball forward, and Roblewski. I thought he was getting a touch just for you, Ross.
It's hit my heart rate on my watch when I get home to see how many spikes it had during this game, thanks to that gentleman.
You had an hour-and-a-half long workout. Heart rate was exceptional. It's knotted down. Callaway trying to get to it. Didn't say his name a ton for Callaway. Made a pro debut in March of 2024. Started one match, not a ton of appearances in 2024 for the youngster. 18 years of age from Birmingham, Alabama.
You mentioned Mensah in there at right back. Assume Thiago Suarez, his left back, excuse me, Thiago Suarez going to right back, I would assume. More of his natural position.
Steven Turnbull taken out. One start on the year so far after transferring in the off season. An experienced option, played with New York City FC in the MLS ranks.
Sloppy from Enzo.
He loses out here, and a chance for Burko to drive at the defense. Moves it onto his right foot, waiting for options. Going to try and take on his man who's standing him up. Burko staying with it. He's on a yellow card, so the forward has to be careful not to go too strong into a challenge and miss. He earns a throw, though, for his side.
Interesting to see the players that played on Sunday. Obviously, when you're playing against Lou City, never an easy match on the body, on the legs especially, running around chasing those men in purple or white. See the likes of Enzo Martinez and the other backline. Obviously, Turnbull out now already.
Steven Turnbull making one Open Cup appearance so far in his career. It was a 4-4 draw with the Charlotte Independence when he was with the Charleston Battery. Ended up in a 9-8 shootout loss to the Independence in a cup set. But Turnbull will not see out the full match this time around. He scored in that match, the fourth goal, I believe. This one sits up, an opportunity, a goal! Queven, McConnell, and Little Rock open the half in the perfect way. It's 1-0 to the Rangers.
What a strike by McConnell. From the long throw and into the wind. Fell right to his feet, 18 yards out, and that's a perfect technical strike by the defensive midfielder. You can see what it means to him.
What a strike. for the man from Northern Ireland. Caught that so sweetly. William Carey University, he had 25 goals across 94 appearances. He knows how to put them in the back of the net, and he did it right there for Little Rock.
Yeah, made that late run to the edge of the box, and nobody from Birmingham was paying much attention to him. Regretting that decision now.
That was a goal out of nothing. Not necessarily against the run of play in terms of Birmingham dominating the game, but in terms of generating chances. And we're seeing the crowd really get into it for Little Rock. Long ball forward, quickly returned. It's ping-ponging around. Burko chests it down. It's going to spin kindly for the forward, but he's put off from a strong challenge. Pass just too heavy, aiming for Callaway. Recu not able to get there.
Well, talking about the trouble they were having with the turf, one way to get around that is by not having it touch the turf much at all. A shot like that on the half volley. Beautiful strike. Certainly one worthy of an Open Cup lead, a potential cup set.
Blocked by McConnell, the goal scorer. One over the top, Delgado. That's a gut punch to the Legion. Find themselves down by a goal. "50 minutes down. It's out now, corner kick to come.
Corner kick, Birmingham.
Birmingham with an option, an opportunity to try and get back into this game, but they find themselves down a goal to nil.
Looking for the quick answer. Otherwise, got to be careful on this set piece. She hits the wind, holding up.
You can see that corner flag fighting against the wind. That's where the wind wants to drive the ball. Low delivery, cleared away by the goal scorer, McConnell. Poked into the box. The shot takes a spin out of play.
Corner kick, Birmingham.
Another corner for the Legion. Clipped to the back post. Headed up, not away. It's still in the box. Brought down, Dorado. What options does he have? Takes a few bounces and it rolls to a friendly face in Mensah. He stood on it for a moment, able to get it out of his feet to Roof. Moved along. Look at the wind, just utterly takes that one from his intended target as it continues to swirl down over the top. Dorado can't get there in time, and it's out for a goal kick.
Yeah, we saw on the previous corner the ball was driven in and it just almost seemed to stay up in, even though it was hit with pace, it seemed to stay up in the air forever towards that back post. Birmingham almost taking advantage.
Thrown in by Birmingham. Switch of play. Roblewski, he'll claim. What point, what minute mark? Shut things down here.
Oh, well, I was thinking the same thing. I don't think you start trying to park the bus, especially with the potential of the likes of Kobe Hernandez, Foster, and Ronaldo Damas on the bench at some point here for Birmingham. You'd have to imagine. Question is how long Thompson waits for them.
Trying to fizz a pass forward, doesn't quite come off. Burko trying to find Stone. Ball over the top, aiming for Callaway. Roblewski, he'll get it, he'll fall on it.
Just fall on it first before touching it, please, sir.
Roblewski has been everything he was billed to be, making some big stops, Also having some really fascinating moments with the ball at his feet, turning it over in 2 key occasions. But still, hey, if you keep a clean sheet, it's hard to have many complaints. Still, a long way to go from that point. Cleared away by the experienced Beltran.
I have the feeling he may have to be called upon a few more times tonight. Keep this clean sheet.
That's a free kick for a foul from behind. Scott Gray brought down. First time mentioning Gray. Spent some time with the University of Rio Grande as well as 2024 with the Little Rock Rangers. It really does help, Ross, with the Little Rock group, how many players you have in this group, not just with experience historically, but also last year. And then Nick Doyle mentioned that, yes, it is March and our season doesn't start till May, but we're able to get players in who understand what we're about. It's not a brand new circumstance for them, and it makes things like this a bit easier to pull off, trying to get this done against the Legion.
Yeah, 100%. And we saw that yesterday, today, some of the open division teams with, I'll call them mercenaries, coming in, trying to win games, get a run going, but that doesn't always work. Those of you that play the game understand how much you need to be playing together, wanting to play for each other. When you get some guy just coming in on a 1-game contract, how much do you really want to play for that guy, especially if he's taken perhaps a spot of your teammate of yours for months.
Martinez outside of the left. Callaway stands up a defender, has a shot over the goal. Had a few chances, but with the exception, I should say with the exception of the 2 big chances they've had, it's been a lot of these opportunities.
And so Martinez drawing in defenders. Callaway, he was going to be able to get decent contact on it, just couldn't keep it down. So Michikawa comes sliding in to perhaps put him off slightly.
Big challenge put in, top of the box. Referee will pull play back in the end. Was thinking about playing advantage, decides against it. It's going to be a free kick for the Legion. You'd say in shooting range, Ross, but look at that corner flag fighting for its life.
Yeah, certainly going to affect these set pieces. I think Enzo Martinez might, if you can see him, a long run up he's taking. Enzo can strike them from anywhere. It's locked further than 10 yards back, but Husky setting up his wall. Question is, can you keep this one down?
Roman Torres and Enzo Martinez. Martinez laces one up, it blocks off the wall. It does its job, but it's a corner.
Blake might have taken that one off his ear. He's stumbling around a little bit. Penalty spot.
Not one that you volunteer to take.
No, that one's going to hurt these conditions, especially.
The wind will only further add insult to that injury. The ball in the box cleared away, again off the goal line. Again, Little Rock, heroic defending.
It's going to take a lot more of that these last 34 minutes. They're going to want to hold on to this 1-0 lead.
Sits up, the shot over the goal.
Had some venom on it. We've got a cramp already.
See no benefit to wasting time. There was maybe been an awkward fall there in the box for Areku. Back on his feet, moving back.
Substitutes getting warmed up. It's about that time. Thompson may have to make a move in the next 5 or 10 minutes. Been dangerous here in the last 10 minutes, though, especially with these set pieces. I think Doyle's want to keep the ball down this end as much as he can. Get some seconds and minutes ticking off this clock.
Hooked forward. Stepping forward to make the challenge, and Dubé in the midfield just puts one upfield. Delgado getting there. Still a long way to go. 1-0, Little Rock. Even McConnell with the lone goal. goal in the match so far. Ball forward, pushed away. Sits up in the midfield. Callaway, strong challenge coming in. The right back, Ichikawa stepping forward. A ball over the top. Burko, can he sort his feet? Two in front of him in black. Trying to fight all on his own. And in the end, the Legion will come away with it. Burko, again, on that yellow card, has to be careful about not leaving a lingering challenge in. The clearance on the header from Ventura. It bounces loosely in the box. Martinez pokes one into the area. Challenge by Ventura. Gets up and pushes the ball away. Waves off his teammates who wanted to come in support. Martinez turns out and plays one centrally. Top of the box on the turn. Low shot dragged just wide by Dorado.
Looks getting a little tired out there. Space is opening up. It's a nice turn. In the first half, we were seeing some very close corner defending from Little Rock on those turns. Put you in some real trouble when you're right on the back of it, an attacker.
Subs will be coming in here. Dawson, McCartney, Kobe Hernandez Foster, Ronaldo Damas, all coming into the match. No nonsense now from Tom Sohn. He wants to get them back into this game. He brings on three guys who have started both championship games so far this year. They were rested from the starting lineup. Ronaldo Damas, they need an introduction. A historic goal scorer in the USL Championship. Got his first Birmingham goal on March 16th on Sunday against Louisville. His defense has to do the work here as Little Rock are in the attack, and it's rolled out wide for Ichikawa. One for Stone to let run across his body. Mensah wants to see it out of play. Now able to turn in field and try and drive. Mensah sees off one challenger and plays one forward. Comes Ventura.
Ronaldo Damas, I'm sure, would love to add a US Open Cup to his already large trophy collection, 2 USL Championship titles, USL League One title with North Texas back in 2019 as well.
Number 22 on the board.
Little Rock throw in. Luca Dorado, Roman Torres, Finn Callaway, the three that made way for Kobe Hernandez Foster, Ronaldo Damas, and Dawson McCartney.
Things now getting very serious in this game.
Burko wanted to go for that one. It's cleared away. Clipped forward. Spins backwards. It's actually going to be pressed very well by Stone. He forces the ball moved out to Mensah. He wants movement ahead of him. Forward for Little Rock pressing. It's hooked in play, kept alive. Damas pressing, first time saying his name in the field of play. Hernandez Foster with the first pass. He swings it out wide. Opportunity for Preston Tibor Taka to carry it. He rolled it off.
I think the key here for Little Rock is not to sit back. Do sit back and give this Birmingham team possession. I'd like to think the chances of them unlocking this defense at some point, more likely than not. To keep pressing, keep trying to turn that ball over. Not too much time, and Ronaldo Damas especially to get one over the top at some point.
Ball played forward. Did it take a deflection along the way? It did indeed. A corner will come for the Legion.
See the whole flag bending now as opposed to just the actual flag part. The whole flag pole is now bending.
That is what I am watching for the rest of this match. Will that corner flag stay alive for the full 90 minutes? It's an opportunity for an in-swinger against this raucous wind we've had all day. High, arcing ball. It goes too long to the back post. Opportunity to be kept in play, but it's put out by Dawson McCartney. His first touches for the man in his second season with Birmingham. 3 goals, 6 assists, all in the USL Championship in 2024, trying to get his first goals of 2025. Good strength from Burko. Rolled again to the forward. Last touching the Rangers man, and it's a throw for the Legion.
Not from the correct spot.
He has been consistent in that. To Sean Beard, making sure that throw-ins are taken from the correct area. No advantages gained by advancing territory with your feet. Mensah. Intercepted by Ichikawa, but takes a bit of a heavy touch. You have that almost dark red line right in the bottom of your screen that represents the end line. Good turn by dummying the ball. Here's Ronaldo Damas receiving it deep. Aiming for Tabor Titaka. Can't get it to him, and Mensah, the halftime sub, rolls a pass to the feet of McCartney. Hernandez Foster. Mensah.
Keep an eye on Hernandez Foster. He's got the kind of technical ability that could turn this game on its head. So what Legion looking for tonight, someone to unlock it. This back line, she's so good in the USL League 2 last summer. Only 3 goals allowed in league play. They've been very solid tonight, other than a couple of scary moments from Thomas Wroblewski.
Clipped into the box, aiming for Martinez. Was it kept in play? No, it was not. It's going to be a goal kick.
We've got the potential cup set here. We've also got one, although I'm not sure how much of a cup set it will be with Des Moines Menace if they knock off Sporting KC2. They're up 2-1 in stoppage time there.
I think that's got the cup
that
set.
One. It still is considered a cup set. Menace, obviously, with a bunch of former MLS players in their mid to late 30s.
But it is former.
Yes, they're former for a reason. I've been kind to them.
Against potential future MLS players
Yes.
with SKC2. That is a MLS Next Pro versus USL League 2 matchup. Our matchup today, USL League 2, Little Rock Rangers, winners of the Mid-South Division in 2024. A first ever Mid-South Division title for them, up against the Birmingham Legion of the USL Championship, a team that have historically been very strong at the championship level. Only 1 year in their history. This is their 7th season now. Have they not made the playoffs? That was last year. Tom Sohn, lone club coaching club history, trying to turn things around.
We'll say Des Moines Menace with a pair of penalties. Obviously, we had the missed penalty here tonight that could come back to haunt Birmingham.
Great point you make. Luca Dorado, that'll be what he's thinking on the return to Birmingham, regardless of where this match ends up finishing out with. He's on the bench now, not able to score his first goal for the club, a guy who really scored goals at a great level in the collegiate ranks. He was stopped by Tomas Wroblewski.
Just waiting for Arecu to see if he's okay to continue. The second time he's been dealing with some apparent cramps tonight.
Flicked along. Martinez, someone sprinting over his shoulder, shouts man on from his teammates. Kos. Mensah. Return to Ethan Kos. Pass not hitting the ground the way it would like to. That one's knotted across goal. Wroblewski can fall on it. Martinez, a header that was begging for someone to attack it at the back post.
Yeah, Ronaldo Damas was in the vicinity, but stuck a little centrally. Good shielding drop by Ventura. Wroblewski take a few more seconds off the clock here. Mention Ethan Kos used to play his trade in the League of Ireland with Kerry. Nice little addition to Birmingham this season. Thompson trying to get that center-back pairing going.
Here's Burko in the box. 2 options with him. He'll have a go. Maybe not the right choice from him. Took a hop before he had a strike, and it goes over the goal. Second look at that chance from Burko. Good strength to see off his opponent, but in the end just gets under it.
Yeah, he's a big body. Just bubble up on him a little bit. It has done all night tonight. It's Episcopal collegiate surface. I wonder as a player, which obviously everybody wants to play on grass, but these pros are so used to good grass. Perhaps sometimes you prefer the turf with the even bounces.
Offering variables for the Birmingham Legion. They haven't found a route through. They've had great chances, a point-blank block. We've mentioned a few times from Carlos Beltran, but it was heroic from him. It was heroic from Tomas Wroblewski. Saved a penalty. And the Legion have to find another answer. Throw in. Little Rock last played in the U.S. Open Cup. It was against Rayados in 2019. They led in the 40th minute, 2-1, and they led all the way until the 95th minute, 90+5, conceding an equalizer at home. Went to extras, went to penalties, where they fell 4-2. That's not a kind thing to say to Little Rock fans.
You could have waited a little bit, Jack, for that statement.
But they know how close they came in 2019. Facing, go to respect to Rayados, even better opposition on paper aside from the USL Championship. Up 1-0 in the 70th minute. Ross, still a long time. A lot of opportunities for me to jinx this game.
I'll give him your Twitter feed when we're done.
Jack C. Edwards.
You can say hi to you.
That's what. It's been a pleasure. I'm Jack Edwards alongside Ross Davenport. Let's put some names to these voices. Little Rock has played so admirably up to this point. Birmingham, they have been limited. They have quality on this field. Players who at the championship level have played very well. That one kept in play, but at the cost of losing possession, that's going to be a free kick, and the chance gone for Birmingham to try and counter press. And a chance here for another sub to be brought in here. Temi Areku, who was dealing with a bit of maybe cramp or fatigue issues, will make way for the incredibly young 16-year-old Ramiz Hamoda. 14 appearances in the USL Championship last year, first of them back in April. Coming off the bench against Chattanooga in the US Open Cup. So the man who made his professional debut in this competition comes on again. His side in desperate need. Was that a push from behind? Referee says no, it was going down a little too softly. Martinez, good control and dribbling forward. Ball out wide now.
And see where Hamoda ends up. Play more of a fullback for Birmingham. Looked like he was juggling all the way to the back line. Certainly doubt they're going 5 at the back, perhaps. Suarez pushes up.
Stats have 10-3 shots in favor of Birmingham. That feels pretty accurate, Ross, where a lot more chances going the way of the visitors. But the clinical shot from McConnell separates the sides as Ethan Blake carries it to the top of the box. Blake will have a crack, saved by Delgado, still in play. Point blank blocked, sits up. Delgado again 3 times in the way.
Yeah, good job by Delgado. Went to ground, but not all the way to ground. And as a result, he was still on his knees and able to make that secondary stop. It was a great strike. As you mentioned, Jack, initially.
Maybe a chance now with some space opened up. A rare attack upfield from Little Rock leaves them a little exposed, but great pair of challenges there from Dubé, who has put in a ton of challenges so far this match. It's a throw going the way of Birmingham. Both teams exchanging opportunities of being frustrated. The save here from Delgado.
Yeah, Delgado got backed up to his feet quickly too. That was key. Stayed big. It's enough to deny Coca. Still no subs for Nick Doyle. And Alejandro Padilla got some experience on the bench.
That will be a foul. Too much handling from Ethan Kos on his opposing forward, Daniel Burko. Burko, the very strong center forward on a yellow. Be a candidate to be subbed. Lance Crabtree, Joel Busby, Alejandro Padilla, Ian Jones, Evan Chrysler, and Reese Thornton. Those last three, all Academy players here at the Little Rock Rangers Academy. Something that Nick Doyle was very excited to give them the opportunity, 16, 17 years of age.
Yeah, he did say he was going to give some of his UPSL guys spots on the bench. Perhaps hoping he wouldn't have to use them.
Feels like a match where if you're using them, it has not gone your way.
Correct.
But in a match of such fine margins, this may not be the opportune moment to get your first real tests at the professional level. It's Birmingham Lamar, professional side. USL Championship standard. Mensah. Great challenge coming across. Steven Stone playing in a midfield position today. He's on the right-hand side. We would have loved to see him get involved in the attacking third, but his contributions may be more greatly valued in these last 15 minutes where he is right now. Defending, his closest option up against McCartney. Left-footed into the box, back post over everybody. Levski happy to see that go over everybody's head. The turn from Martinez in field, big challenge, and it's one back. Here's Blake. Ethan Blake rolls it centrally. He's got McConnell. Burko holding the ball up, back to Blake. Opportunity to try and keep this one away from their opponents from Alabama. That one just lofted forward. A real target there. Delgado can roll it to Kos.
Yeah, possession heavily in favor of the Legion here in the second half, as you probably expect, 71.2% as they seek the equalizer. But big stat, no shots on target in the second half for Birmingham.
Down with a bit of cramp after that long ball forward.
Some late games going on as well. Your favorite burrito shop team, El Farolito, taking on Real Monarchs. That one's just underway. El Paso just doubled their lead against Harpos.
They had a cup set last year, Farolito, correct?
Yes, they had a nice little run.
That wasn't just.
I think they won the $50,000. It was obviously each division, whoever the last remaining team is, wins $50,000. And they doubled the overall prize. Enzo Martinez complaining about the time. They added on Enzo, don't worry. Enzo always with a word to say when things aren't going his way.
They may be saying that a sub is required here for Kevin Ventura, who has had a very admirable performance so far, but his race may be run, and the first sub for Little Rock may be injury enforced as Ventura will come off the field 76 minutes down. Will be with Birmingham in their back line after this sub takes place.
Deshaun is waiting for this sub. Looks like he is waiting for the sub to happen.
Coming in will be Alejandro Padilla, his 21 jersey put up. Kevin Ventura making way. Padilla. Talked up by Nick Doyle. Made 11 appearances for Memphis. Sacramento State before that. He trained for a few professional clubs in the offseason as he's making the leap to the professional level. 24-year-old from Albuquerque, New Mexico. He's on the field now, his side needing his defensive services. Try and see out what would be a historic result. Ball outside, kept in play. Trying to slide the pass forward, intercepted. Attempt there from Coca. Mensah. Here's Ronaldo Damas. Pass out wide there, under hit. Blake steps onto it. He's waiting for options to come with him. He'll slow things down. Burko, far side. Blake with three around him in black. Dances between them, goes down. Referee waves it away. No foul there, cleared up field. It's poked down. Martinez has been freed up to go a bit further forward. And he's calling for a Ball here for a throw-in, but not one close enough to him. It is thrown into Martinez, though, in the end. Bouncing along. Rolled. McCartney. Clipped in for Damas. Gets a head to it. Not goalward. Out for a goal kick.
Yeah, similar spot to where he scored over the weekend against Louisville off a set-piece delivery. Yeah, Alejandro Padilla.
Cup sets completed. Sorry, you there, Ross.
Good.
With Des Moines 2-1. Obviously, Virginia, we mentioned that at halftime over Richmond. El Paso, other USL Championship team playing today. Lexington, El Paso, Monterey Bay, as well as Birmingham, all playing today from the USL Championship. Lexington a 5-0 win against Southern Indiana. El Paso up 2-0 on Harpos. Championship sides winning. This Little Rock has something to say about it. Ball forward blocked, it spins. Blake gonna try and get to it. He puts a challenge in, but Ortitaka comes away with it. The ball forward, blocked down, sits up. Martinez at the end line. His delivery, blocked, sits up, and Roblewski catches it and falls on it. When I justified falling on it, made sense to dive to the ground there.
Yeah, good bit of shielding. Roblewski off his line quickly. Again, that ball bouncing around in that penalty area. Off this fluffy grass here. Now Damas, he's just gonna hang out.
He saw some of the near mistakes from Roblewski in the first half in his delivery out from the back. He's saying maybe he'll drop it right in my lap. McConnell, it is his goal that separates the two sides as we gear up for the final 10 minutes. That touch not as good as his strike goalwards that led to the goal in the match.
Must be a kind Jack. Didn't lose possession though.
Tactical. He knew where he was putting it. Rolled back to Blake from Burko. Blake, he wants a throw. He gets a throw.
I think this performance by Little Rock tonight was played with a lot of courage. They really haven't looked scared of this USL Championship side. They've been on the front foot when they've needed to be. Very composed at the back as we expected them to be after their defensive record last year in USL League 2. Some games yesterday where the open division teams just didn't even want to take that ball into the final third, risk of getting caught on the transition. But Little Rock so impressive so far tonight.
Damas, great strength. His touch there, a little heavy, and a great challenge from McConnell. He has one, going for two, and it's saved by Delgado.
Talked about the spine in this team. McConnell providing such composure at the defensive midfield spot. Great going forward as we've seen. Can the USL League 2 team hold on here for 10 more minutes or so?
Blake a little late on the challenge. The referee keen to let play continue. Plays advantage. Great challenge from Dubé. Just stayed right behind his opponent. That one cleared forward. Anywhere will do.
Key for Little Rock when the ball does get into this Birmingham, not to give away any silly free kicks. We've seen so many dangerous chances tonight from set pieces, especially now with Damas on.
Here is Damas. Rolls it along. Mensah into the area, aiming for Damas. Brings it down, blocked, point blank, saved by Roblewski. In the box, a scramble out for a corner. There's appeals at the edge of the box. Thinking about it for a moment, was Deshaun Beard. Would there be another penalty? Referee said no. It was Enzo Martinez in the area.
He's suggesting it should have been a penalty. Let's take another look at it here as it came back out. Damas with a half chance on the turn. Big save by Roblewski. Oof.
Leave a challenge in a bit late like that, you run the risk. I like the no call, but we have a corner here. Roblewski punches it away. It's a foul after the clearance by the goalkeeper.
Both players lunged for it at the same time. I couldn't really tell from our angle who got to the toe to it first. Enzo Martinez still telling Deshaun Beard that it was him.
Well, what does he think he should have gotten there? He should have had another penalty for his side. This is a Birmingham team that has had no shortage of chances. few scrappy ones. They have had a penalty. Had the lion's share of the shots and the expected goals.
Yeah, 1.19, but I think penalty's worth what? 0.75 I think ish. So yeah, not a ton of other quality chances. There's only having one shot on target, which would have been the penalty, but I find that hard to believe. We have to see that updated there. Obviously, with a save or two there on that last scramble in the box.
He stepped up in the biggest moment, Wroblewski, with the penalty. He waited just a half of a moment and saved the shot from Dorado. Kos. That's a foul. And it's going to be, appears to be a free kick. This is a Birmingham team that has scored 2 goals this year, one from a free kick in a similar position to this, and one from a corner kick. Both goals from set pieces, and they have some more of their first team personnel.
He was 3 steps closer to this side.
Substitution Rangers. Number 14, Lance Crabtree.
John Coca making way for Lance Crabtree. We saw John Coca come off, give a high five to someone from the crowd. His race is run. 2 subs used now by the Little Rock Rangers. Left-footed free kick into the back post. Thomas goes down, knows that he wasn't getting anything there. And it's a goal kick, the delivery a little too high.
Yeah, you're at a League 2 stadium when you got people in lawn chairs. Love it. Remember the Villages, remember that team? Almost one side full of lawn chairs.
One would argue an ideal way to watch the sport. Episcopal Collegiate School, Wildcat Stadium, Little Rock Rangers, Birmingham Legion. Round 1 of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. The Rangers appeared in this competition just one time before.
Legion have just been frustrated all night by the defensive performance from this Little Rock Rangers side. We knew their reputation coming in, but it was going to be a different proposition going up against the USL Championship side versus USL League 2 opposition, where you play the same teams over and over again, almost in the same division. Lived up to all expectations so far.
Kos. Collision there, it's going to be a foul a bit late after Blake got there first. Both players down holding their heads. And I believe it's going to be in the end a free kick for Little Rock. We'll get confirmation after the players receive treatment. An opportunity for a bit of quick tactical advice from both coaches. Tom Sohn trying to figure out how to get his team back into this game. Nick Doyle trying to figure out how to see things out. Would be surprised if that was not a free kick going the way, and you see the signal there from an official. Blake getting there first. That personal sacrifice, winning the header. A bit of time for his teammates to get a bit of refreshment.
You mentioned Tom Sohn doesn't have as many options as he could have with the amount of injuries, especially offensively. Trejo, Pasher, Kavita, all guys that can do dangerous things in the final third, all out tonight. AJ Patterson as well as Sebastian Garden listed on the bench tonight. I don't think we'll see him as a concern here. Free from Blake.
I mentioned Ethan Blake once. His time with Lindenwood, very profitable. He's an all-Ohio Valley Conference guy. He's looked dangerous in transition, had limited moments. McConnell. And his late run, his shot at the top of the box that separates these two sides. Concern here for Blake. Figure out contingency plans. Ian Jones is ready. 17 years of age. His jersey is on in case he needs to come onto the field.
Team out of there.
Blake probably wants to get as much time for himself as possible to see if he can continue playing, but personal safety may come at a higher priority.
Back to his feet, good to see.
Blake back up, being helped off.
You were right, Jack. It will be a Little Rock free kick to get things restarted here. A couple of minutes certainly added on to any stoppage time we had previously. So we have to think it's going to be at least 4 or 5 minutes. Oh, more than that. He's had some previous injuries as well. Accused cramp.
A minute and a half until we figure out just how much added time we will have at the end of our match today. You imagine it would be a sizable portion. We have the sub now. Ethan Blake will make way after the head collision. Hoping the best for him. Ian Jones of the Little Rock Rangers Academy, just 17 years of age, playing against a professional side. His team up a 0-0.
No pressure, kid.
A minute plus stoppage time.
Some teenagers, they have no fear, right? Sometimes that's a problem as a parent. Hopefully he goes out there and just runs around, causes trouble.
Ichikawa over the top. It's claimed there. Crabtree trying to get his first touches since coming onto the field. He's got fresh legs, long strides from the man standing at 6'4" in the center circle right now for the hosts, the Little Rock Rangers. Kos swings one to the far side, nodded back towards the top of the area, cleared away. Mensah comes onto it first ahead of Crabtree. Hernandez Foster into the box and coming in collision with the goal. Roblewski need a moment just to collect himself and to fix the goal.
It's off the moorings as it is in NHL. As Enzo Martinez is going to go chase this ball down. And look at this ball floated in. He must got beaten on the Olympico early. He was going to make sure this one didn't have any chance of finding the back of the net.
6 minutes of added time.
Referee has indicated 6 minutes of added time.
That is how long Little Rock have to see out.
You could almost sense the stress in the crowd, the stress level increasing when they saw that 6 minutes. Got a little quiet for a second. Oh my!
Right on the goal line, Delgado anywhere will do. That would have sealed the match surely, but Fernando Delgado playing with fire concedes a throw to Little Rock, and in comparison to the alternative, they'll take the throw in.
Well, he knew he couldn't pick it up because it was a back pass, so he had to. It just bounced. It didn't bounce terribly off the turf. He just seemed to misjudge it for a second. He knew he couldn't pick that up, so he had to just hack it away.
Scraped forward by the Legion. One for Ronaldo Damas to chase.
See Little Rock still pressing, trying to turn that ball over in the back. Defense starts up front. Keep that ball down there. You know they got a little chance of scoring.
Lofted forward, stepping onto it. Beltran gets there first, the captain. His heroic goal line clearance, a massive moment in this game. Damas steps past one, a great challenge. Still a chance here potentially, but Dubé steps onto it, and he clears it upfield. Burko, can he keep that in play? Was he pushed from behind? Referee says he needs to stop at the very least to allow Burko a moment to collect himself.
Yeah, it was a dangerous giveaway by the Rangers in the middle of the park. Not somewhere you want to be giving it away against these guys, especially Ronaldo Damas in the vicinity.
McCartney loses out to Ichikawa, out for a throw-in for Birmingham. 2 minutes down. Desperation times for the visitors. Hernandez Foster over the head. Tabor Itaka cleared out of play by Scott Gray. Rolled. Hernandez Foster, a heavy touch, one that Dom is trying to capitalize on. It's cleared forward. Burko, the center forward, brings it in. Trying to clear it upfield. He'll do so successfully, but Fernando Delgado can try and put it back in the mix halfway through stoppage time. Big header, Damas brings it down, options are alongside him. Trying to poke it out wide, that one too heavy, and it rolls out of play.
Ronald Damas has been pretty quiet since coming on, had that one sort of half chance when he turned inside the box, but it looks a little out of sync. And Legion down 1-0, and obviously trying to find the equalizer. They really haven't forced Thomas Wroblewski to do a whole ton in the second half at all. Frustrating to Tom's zone.
Too heavy, knocked up field. Has to be careful here, Kos. Pressed tightly by Burko. Didn't leave a challenge in. It's a throw-in for Little Rock Rangers, far inside the attacking half. Scott Gray will come up from left back, take this throw. He throws it quickly into the corner. Burko, big frame, kicks it off his opponent. It's another throw-in, still for Little Rock. Thiago Suarez will help them quickly get the ball back in their hands. Again to Burko.
Freight train going by in the background is going as slow as these seconds are for Little Rock Rangers fans.
They're trying to catch a view of this potential cup set at Wildcat Stadium. Launched forward, Damas. A heavy touch, Dubé steps onto it, able to carry into the midfield. Try and carry it away from danger. Miscommunication there between him and Jones, the youngster. Ian Jones, just 17 years of age, rolled back into play for Hernandez Foster. Launched upfield. Pass takes an awkward spin, and here's Mensah. 1 minute remaining. Clipped into the box. Wroblewski punches, doesn't claim it. Cleared away by Dubé.
It's probably a smart decision with this swirling wind.
Again, put in the mix. To the back post. Martinez, the captain. Can he get it out of his feet? An option close by. Puts it onto his right. Into the box. Pushed along by the goal scorer, McConnell. Again back in the mix. The shot by Damas. It's high. Wroblewski claims it and falls in front of his own goal.
Yeah, Ronaldo Dramas tying anything. The overhead kick from quite a way out was floating up there. Rock fans were probably just hoping it would come down into the arms of that man in yellow.
Flicked along forward at the back line. Seconds remain, and then any additional the referee could choose to add on. All eyes on Deshaun Beard. We've had 6 minutes. Long throw forward. And we've had enough. Little Rock making a big splash, and they take down the Birmingham Legion of the USL Championship.
Yeah, listen, Birmingham can try and blame the wind, try and blame the pitch, but in the end, a deserved win for the USL League 2 team. Another clean sheet to add to their collection, and they'll move on to the second round as the fans come on the pitch and celebrate with their heroes. And that man there, Queven McConnell, what a strike. Deserved a win in any cup tie.
The hero of Little Rock, the man from Northern Ireland, Queven McConnell. A strike, maybe the best of his career, to seal the cup set, and the biggest, undoubtedly, of the competition so far.
Get to see their name in the draw for the next round. Great to see all the kids out there celebrating. Some of their coaches, in fact, as well.
Great for the community of Little Rock. Great for the players, for the fans. Let's see how we got here. Look back at our highlights. Jack Edwards, Ross Davenport. 1 goal in this game, but there were chances. A great start from Little Rock, and really a message of what was to come.
Yeah, certainly had the best 2 early chances, did the home team, as play was wide open. Birmingham here into the box, and the penalty was called. Upward step Luca Dorado, but the man of the night, you'd have to say, Thomas Wroblewski.
He's gonna
big save.
He's gonna fight with McConnell for that Man of the Match award, but stuff like that helps out.
Yeah, potential Olympico there. And the wind blocked up in this throw, and here comes McConnell at the edge of the box. Bam! Delgado saw it late, couldn't stop it.
pure strike from Queven McConnell. There would be some chances to try and seal the game, but Fernando Delgado, to his credit, kept his side in the game. But you see the lack of second half chances. They couldn't create anything concrete. And Queven McConnell has a shot there. His earlier one in the half, the decisive one, and a full-time score of Little Rock 1, Birmingham 0. Final thoughts from you, Ross?
Exciting. This is what the Cup is all about, Jack. Amateur side from Arkansas taking down a USL Championship team that's obviously reached the quarterfinals of this competition before. And listen, only missed the playoffs for the first time ever last year. Great for the boys from Arkansas, and they will move on to the next round, and we'll see who they face.
First time ever Birmingham have fallen the first match of a U.S. Open Cup run. A heroic, historic day for Little Rock. Just a second ever Open Cup game, and they take down the first USL Championship side of the 2025 tournament. They'll head to the second round to play in early April after heroics from goalkeepers and midfielders alike. For my broadcast partner, Ross Davenport, I've been Jack Edwards, full-time, Little Rock 1, Birmingham 0.